Nintendo just announced the Switch 2. It's great, fantastic news. However, I see a problem with it. Welcome to the Mario Matter, your favorite Nintendo podcast, episode number 88, with your host EmSwizzle or Max. It's a great day, my friends, and it's been a great week. I believe this podcast episode will be the biggest episode of the Mario Matter we have ever done in the history. Nintendo has announced, the Nintendo Switch 2. That is our main topic, and if you look at this hat right here, I have all of our news today on pieces of paper in this hat. This hat is freaking full. You can see that if you're on the video version. This hat is full. We have so much Nintendo news to discuss, it's not even funny. So stay tuned. This is huge. I'm excited to dive into this, but this show today, in a minute here, we'll get to Nintendo news containing tons of Switch 2 stuff, Nintendo Switch current stuff. It's a lot of stuff. So news in a minute. After that, we dive into a bigger segment of why Nintendo Switch 2 might be a problem, in my opinion. After that, we do a Q&A segment where we answer your questions you have asked me. It's a great day to be doing this podcast, and it's a great day and time for you to be listening. Let's go ahead. Let's not waste your time. It is the biggest episode of the Mario Matter Nintendo podcast ever done, hosted by EmSwizzle or Max. Let's go ahead. Let's get into Nintendo news and not waste your time. Let's go.
Welcome to the Mario Matter, the number one Nintendo podcast.
My friends, you've made it to the Nintendo News headline segment where I go through, Nintendo news. It's a great time. But before we do that, I always give you guys a trivia question to answer in the beginning of the podcast, and you have all episode to think about it because I will be revealing the answer to it at the end of the episode. And the trivia question is, if my mouse would work so I can scroll and see it, there we go, thank you. How many Mario Party games are there? A, 12, B, 10, C, 22, or D, 25? Have that answer in your head, and then I'll reveal the answer at the end of the show, and we'll see if you got it right. Anyways, Nintendo news time. Now, I will tell you all, most of our news today to discuss is Switch 2 related. I believe we have, 2 or 3 non-Switch 2 stuff, but it's still all Nintendo relevant stuff, right? So, where do I even start? Oh, I know where I start. I picked out one piece of news for me to read off first thing in the podcast. Can you guess what it is? Nintendo confirms Nintendo Switch 2 and a June Nintendo Direct. So, this is the reason why this podcast episode is so big. So, oh my gosh, I'm going to mess up my dates here. So, if we go to my notes here, I believe this was Wednesday? If it's Friday today, I think it was 2 days ago, we got a tweet from Nintendo of Japan. And without rambling too much, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what the tweet says. Quote, "This is Furukawa, who is the president of Nintendo. We will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of Nintendo Switch back in March 2015. We will be holding a Nintendo Direct this June regarding the Nintendo Switch software lineup for the latter half of 2024, but please be aware that there will be no mention of the Nintendo Switch successor during that presentation." And so that tweet right there, by the way, that was announced at 3 a.m. American time, which is obviously 3 p.m. Japan time, so it makes sense for them. But wouldn't you choose a more optimal time, 6 a.m. American time? Or, 9 p.m. American time, which is when 9 p.m. Japan time, 9 a.m. America. 3 a.m. American time? Obviously, they're in Japan, it's 3 p.m., but make it more optimal time, maybe, right? So they announced this, and this tweet set the world on fire. I believe it has over 30 million views, that tweet. which is insane, if not 40 million. That flipped everyone over. People are doing cartwheels, backflips. People are tipping cars over, not knowing what to think of this tweet. So I saw this, I think 7 in the morning. So just like 4 hours after it came out. And honestly, I didn't know whether or not to believe it. I mean, obviously it's real and they're verified, but it's just like, that's the moment that you dream of as a Nintendo, not only a fan, but a content creator, you know? That's like what you want. That's like the biggest thing ever. So I didn't know whether to believe it. I mean, I believed it, but like I was in shock, right? And so, yeah, I didn't really, I'm not a news YouTuber in the sense that I, report things 2 seconds after they happen. I report things on this podcast. So I didn't really like do anything. I just kind of like went on with my day like, oh, wow, Switch 2, It was weird. And honestly, the more exciting announcement for me was the June Direct, because we kind of knew, guys. Like, we knew Nintendo Switch 2 was happening. Like, we didn't know they would do this tweet, but like we kind of could tell, like, next year we're gonna get whatever the new console is, right? I was more excited about this June Direct, because not only is that next month, we didn't know that was happening. We had no idea if we'd get a Direct at all this year. So to know that we're getting one is honestly the more exciting part for me. And also why it's exciting is because this is going to be probably the last Direct that is focused only on Nintendo Switch stuff, because they said there's no mention of Switch 2. So I'm excited to see which remakes and remasters, because they're not making many new games. They might have like one new game to show or two, but they aren't making too much new stuff now. I'm excited to see which remakes and remasters get remade and remastered, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see what they have. You probably shouldn't expect too much in that Direct from Nintendo themselves, but I would say maybe like 1 or 2 brand new things, and then some remakes and some remasters, maybe even like Metroid Prime 4 in there. So we'll have to see, but that is the big news that everyone is talking about. Everything else that I have in here, most of it is Switch 2 related. So the president of Nintendo, Shintaro Furukawa, did a investors meeting, and there was a Q&A, and he answered a lot of things that have to do with the Switch 2. And there's also a couple other like Nintendo Switch current news that affects the now. So let's go ahead. Let's see what else we have in this headline hat. I have so many things in here. It's freaking full. Let's go ahead. Let's pick this piece of news. What is this piece of news? It could be anything right now. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So here's our next piece of news. Nintendo's profits from the Nintendo Switch era are more than every other era combined. So the profits from the Wii era, the money that they've made out of that, the DS era, GameCube, any other era, the Switch era profits are higher than any other era, all combined. Essentially, if you don't know what that means, they're rolling in the dough. They are just freaking rolling in it. And if I pull up my notes here, did I write anything special? They've made more money from 2017 to now than 1981 to 2016 altogether. If that's not insane, I don't know what is. Nintendo, can I have a tiny bit in that? I'm working hard to like talk about your company. No? Okay, fine. It's whatever. I'm just kidding. Next piece of news here. That's a big piece of news, by the way. But, there's not much to really in-depth discuss there. So, next piece of news. Let's see what it is. Oh, another spicy topic that came out this week. Another spicy topic. Okay. The headline reads, Nintendo Switch Twitter posting feature is going away in June 2024. June 10th, to be specific. Okay, wow. So I, ironically, go to Twitter and I see this piece of news from Nintendo saying, hey, starting June 10th or 11th, you can no longer post to Twitter from your Nintendo Switch. And the first reaction from me, from a lot of people in the community, was one word. Why? Okay. What would cause this? What in the world would cause it. Why does this make sense? Okay. So the reason why you're not going to be able to post on Twitter from your Switch anymore is because essentially Elon Musk. I mean, like that's the short answer. So it's costing Nintendo a bunch of money to have that feature still up. Not to get too complex on you, but it has to do with like the API features, which I don't know I'm not sure what that stands for, but they're essentially paying a bunch of money. And so you can't post on Twitter after June 10th. You can't add friends on your Switch from Twitter if you've ever used that feature on your Switch after June 10th of this year. And yeah, I mean, it's not really a Nintendo, it's not a bad thing that they've done. Xbox and PlayStation stopped their Twitter service, I believe, over a year ago, you know? So it's not like Nintendo's doing a bad thing. They're just saving money, you know? And I mean, like realistically, how much did you really use that feature? Now, maybe you used it every single day, right? Like maybe you used it a lot. For me, I didn't ever post on Twitter from my Switch. I might have done it like once every 2 months. Like it's not very often, so I'm not really missing that feature. But yeah, you can still post on Twitter, by the way. Like you have to screenshot whatever it is, send it to your phone, and then post it on Twitter. So it's an extra step, but you can still do it. Like, it still works. You have a Twitter account. I mean, like, it's cool. So it's not as easy, but you can still post on Twitter. Once again, that is June 10th, 2024. So look out for that. Get your final tweets in, man. That's actually, as I'm recording this on May 10th, that is 1 month exactly. So get your final tweets in. You have 1 month left. Our next piece of news here, let's see what it is. Oh, guys, guess what? Non-Nintendo Switch news. Non-Switch 2 news. Non-Switch 2 stuff. We have our one Nintendo Switch piece of news, or our one of two pieces of news. Guys, brand new Nintendo Switch online icons. There are brand new Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past icons available on Nintendo Switch Online. So very self-explanatory. If you have a Switch Online membership and you go into the Switch Online app, you can redeem icons that are related to the NES game Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. That's NES, right? I hope am I being stupid? That's NES, right? Okay, cool. So I hope it's not like Game Boy. I was not alive during that time. Freaking hey Siri, is Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past an NES game?
The Legend of Zelda.
SNES, guys, I'm stupid. I'm stupid. Anyways, you can go and get icons for that SNES game. I'm stupid. On Nintendo Switch Online right now. There's some cool stuff. It's hand-drawn, or it appears that way. It's nice. Go check it out. 10 platinum points per icon, and there are no backgrounds or frames to go with it. Kind of weird, but anyways, that's up there. Go check that out. They probably expire soon, so hurry up. And also, by the way, you have to actually play A Link to the Past before you can unlock the icons, which is like one extra step, but, you know, I guess that's how they get you to play it, so. Either way, our next piece of news here, here we go. Nintendo says they're mostly focused on Switch 2 right now. Interesting piece of news from the Q&A with Nintendo president Shuntaro Furukawa. So, pretty much, I mean, as they should be, they're putting all their resources, their assets into the Switch 2. You obviously want a strong launch with Switch 2, and Switch 1 is coming to the end of its lifetime. This is kind of to be expected. Now, we have the exact quote here from Mr. Shuntaro Furukawa. He says, quote, "Since it takes years to develop a new successor, it is true, development resources are being considered for at the moment. However, we're still developing new software for the Switch, so please look forward to the June Direct." But the main point there was development resources are being considered for the successor. So that's kind of their main focus, once again, as it should be. Please put all your focus into Switch 2. We're almost at Switch 2. we're kind of closing out on the Switch 1's life. So I would rather you put all of your resources into our next 3D Mario or putting themes on the next system. Please put themes and cool home menus on the next system. I would appreciate it. Please, Nintendo, please. Put your resources into making themes and 3D Marios and the next Animal Crossing, and I'll be happy. So, little tidbit of news there. Let's read our next headline. Next piece of news. Oh, this is juicy, guys. Nintendo explains what the next console is going to be. Okay, this is actually big. So, there's been a lot of talk. When you hear the word, or the phrase rather, Nintendo Switch successor, you would probably get from that it's a Nintendo Switch 2. Okay? And you'd be right. They confirmed it. So, they've been calling it all week the Nintendo Switch successor. And Shuntaro Furukawa, in the Q&A, said the most appropriate way to describe the next console is by calling it the Nintendo Switch successor. And you might think, well, Max, that could still maybe mean that it's a brand new console and not a total Switch 2. Let me tell you something. So, back when the Wii U was coming out in 2012, they called it the Wii successor, okay? When the 3DS was coming out, they called that a new portable game machine to succeed DS. So when they come out and say, this is a console to succeed Switch, it's going to be a Switch 2 because the Wii U and 3DS were kind of like DS2s and Wii 2s, right? It's kind of funny because Wii U rhymes with Wii 2. You know, those were kind of like the sequels, the 2 version of the console. So this is going to be a Switch 2. No matter how you cut it, how they're describing it, it's Switch 2. And guess what? When the Switch was coming out, they said it was a brand new concept. So if this next console was going to be a brand new concept, they would have said, this will be a brand new concept of a console. So 100% it is Switch 2. And that is going to be a big topic later on in this podcast. I'm going to dive deeper into that later in the show. I won't say much. I'm going to hold my thoughts until then. But if you want to skip there are timestamps in the description of the show. Crazy, man. All right. Next Nintendo headline. Let's see what it is. We have a bunch left. Let's choose this one. What does this one say? Oh, snap. This one was big. This was big. And guess what, guys? We reported on this last time. We weren't the first to report it, but let me go ahead and read this headline. So the headline reads, Nintendo World Championships NES Edition has been announced for Nintendo Switch. Now, this was leaked last week by Puro, the Red Bird on Twitter, who is the best Nintendo leaker in the game. He has almost never been wrong. And we talked about it last episode. We didn't report it, but we talked about it, rather, is the better term. And it happened. So, Nintendo World Championships NES Edition is confirmed for Nintendo Switch. Now, if you're wondering what this game is, well, the Nintendo World Championships was, it's pretty self-explanatory, but it was a big contest. They've held a few of these, one in 2017, one I believe in like 1990, where you would complete a series of mini games. In these retro games, you win a big cool trophy, right? Well, now this Nintendo World Championships is coming to your home. Here is the description from Nintendo. Test your speedrunning skills across more than 150 challenging moments from 13 classic NES games. Compete against players around the world online. Challenge your friends on the couch. Or try to see how far you can push your personal bests. Do you have what it takes to be a champion? The tougher challenges may truly test your limits. And so, it's essentially an NES mini game collection. So the full NES games are not included, but it's playing these games, but mini games inside of them. So for example, if you're playing Mario for NES, it might be like stomp on 10 Goombas as fast as possible. It could be stuff like that, right? So that's what the entire game is. Now, of course, it would be criminal if Nintendo charged you more than $30 for that game. And that is the price. The price for your NES minigame World Championship Collection is $29.99 here in the US. So it's half of their usual $60 price tag. However, they are releasing a special edition of the game, which is $60. And that has the physical game in it. So to my understanding, if you want the physical version of this game, you have to buy the special edition. Because I have not seen the ability to buy the physical game without buying the special edition. So you might be like, all right, Max, I want the physical game. What comes in the special edition? Well, glad you asked. Because this comes with the Nintendo World Championships NES Edition game, a gold replica NES cartridge and stand to commemorate the 1990 World Championships. I have been told that cartridge does not actually work, so do not be fooled. It will not work on an NES. 13 art cards and a set of 5 pins. Here's my only problem. Listen, okay, so I already bought the freaking special edition, right? Because I have to, review it and everything. Can we stop throwing in pins as a special edition thing? They did it with freaking Tears of the Kingdom. They did it with, whatever else. Who uses pins? Now maybe you're a pin collector, all right? I'm not. I'm sick and tired of the freaking pins. Stop giving me pins. I don't want your pins. Give me like an art book or something, or a CD, NES CD. Stop giving me your freaking pins. However, that's still a cool little special edition. Honestly, can't even lie. For me, right? The NES cartridge, the gold replica, makes the whole thing worth $60. I would pay $30 for that. Obviously, that replica gold cartridge does not work, nor is it real gold. But that's so cool. That's a nice little shelf piece. Even though the NES World Championships event in 1990 is older than I am, that's a cool little shelf piece. So I'm going to get that. And yes, $60 for the special edition, $30 for the digital version of the game, just the game only. And if you want to pre-order the special edition, I don't know the details. I think for the UK, it's the My Nintendo store, so the actual website for Nintendo. If you're in the US, I know Best Buy has it, GameStop has it, Target has it, and maybe Amazon later on. Anywhere else, I am unsure, but please do some Googling for yourself, because I don't doubt that you will be able to find it. That's the proper wording there. So go ahead, check out the Nintendo World Championships game. It's probably not for everyone, but I think it'll be a fun time. It's like NES Remix for the Wii U and 3DS all over again. Dude, it's sick. So that's cool. Our next headline, let's see what it is. Oh, ho, ho, ho. We return to Switch 2 news with a bang. Rumor. More Nintendo Switch 2 specs have leaked. Okay. So this is a rumor. Okay. I want you all to know that. We have some Nintendo Switch 2 info leaked, and this rumor comes from people who are tracking shipments and data from Nintendo, Nvidia, and more companies. And Nvidia is supposedly helping out Nintendo with the console, right? So, how trustworthy is it? People are believing it, and I've seen people say this is pretty trustworthy. So I'm going to go ahead and say it's trustworthy. However, this is still a rumor. Please take this with a grain of salt. All of this is not confirmed. Okay, rumor starts now. So they're saying that the Switch 2 will have 12 gigabytes of RAM. Trust me, I don't know what that means either, but I'm going to keep going down the list and I'll make it simple for you, okay? It'll have 256 gigabytes of internal storage. That's a lot. This is easy to understand. It will have a built-in microphone, which, oh my gosh, thank you. That is the coolest thing in the world. And finally, the RAM is specifically LPDDR5X, DDR5. Okay, so listen, I don't know what the heck that means, but here's the simple version, okay? People online are saying it's going to be more powerful than a PS4. That's what people are saying. I didn't make that myself. People are saying that online. And if that's the case, that's a very strong Switch 2. That is very strong. And I've seen people say this will not be as strong as the PS5 or Xbox Series, but it's going to be pretty freaking close. That's what I've been reading. That's crazy, you know? If it's even at all close, that's crazy. Because you have to think, a reason why the Wii U sold bad is, or even like, use that example. Why the Wii U sold bad is because it had barely any third-party support. And even like the Switch has great third-party support, but a lot of developers don't want to make games for Switch because it's so hard to, because the hardware is old and it sucks. Now, if we're using some more power, I feel like it'd be easier to optimize a game that is on Xbox that people don't want, or like the developers don't want to come to Switch. It's easier to optimize it because it has more power now. I feel like this is perfect. You want more power in a Switch 2. However, my favorite part of the entire rumor here is the fact that it says the Switch 2 is rumored to have a built-in microphone. Do you realize, you might think that sounds dumb, or maybe not, but like that, do you remember having a Wii U? Maybe not. And you could like blow into the microphone to do stuff in Mario 3D World? That was sick. It was so interactive in that way. So maybe we'll have that back. People were thinking like, that means that we're going to have party chat. Are you kidding me? No way. A built-in, you're not using a built-in microphone to talk to people on Mario Tennis. I'm so sorry. That does not mean that we're going to have party chat and in-game chat. Now, maybe we'll have that, but it's not going to be, that the built-in microphone is going to be so crunchy. That will not work for party chat. I'm so sorry. So that's not going to happen. Maybe it'll happen, but not with the built-in microphone. No way. No way. That can't happen. Crunchy audio in party chat. Ew, yeah, that ain't happening. But that is all a rumor. That's a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt and maybe a little bit of soy sauce. But our next headline reads, let's see what it is. Oh, look at this, guys. Do you remember the Super Mario Bros. Movie? Well, I don't. But we have some Mario movie news. The Super Mario Bros. Movie becomes the most profitable movie in 2023. Okay, so it was not the biggest movie of the year. We have to unfortunately give that to Barbie, I believe. But according to Deadline, while Barbie did do more money at the box office, which is like money from tickets and stuff, the Mario movie was the most profitable. They made the most money. And the movie made $559 million. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. Do you know what you could do with $559 million? You could make a Mario movie too, and they actually are, and that comes out in 2026, so that is a long ways away. But we will be ready for it. I think. Hopefully. Probably. Okay, anyways, next piece of news. That's a big one, though. They made freaking bank, and I'm happy to have helped that number. Because, guys, if I didn't go watch the movie, that number would be 558,000,99999. It would not have been 559 million. So I feel proud. I helped that number. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. They would have done it with or without me. Okay, here we go. Next piece of news. Let's see it. Oh, ho, ho, ho. More pieces of news from the Nintendo President Q&A. The headline reads, Nintendo expects the Switch to sell better than the DS. All right. So, if you did not know, the DS, the console from 2004, has sold Nintendo 154 million units. They've sold 154 million DSs, whether it was a DS, a DSi, a DS Lite, a DSi XL, whatever it is, they sold 154 million in total. And we have an updated number for the amount of Nintendo Switches that have sold. As of now, they just updated this number. The Nintendo Switch has sold 141.32 million units. So with the DS at 154 million, the Switch is inching closer. Now, the best-selling console ever is the PS2 with at least 155 million units. And that number, by the way, is kind of in limbo because for the longest time, the PS2 had sold 155 million units. But then somebody came out recently. I don't know if it was the former PlayStation president or somebody high up from PlayStation came out and said, actually guys, the number was closer to 160 million. But there's no real hard proof, so the number is at least 155 million. Did Bro get scared last minute? Why is he coming out now and saying that the number was actually closer to 160? Are you scared that Switch is going to pass you? Why are we coming out now and saying that? Bro, say that back in 2005. Why say it now? Are you worried? I don't know. That's kind of weird. But yeah, Switch, no matter how you cut it, is already, one of the best-selling consoles of all time. But it's on its way to being the best, possibly, potentially. We'll have to see where that goes. But look out for it, man. Switch could be called the best-selling console of all time. And by the way, guys, I tweeted this today. If you're not following me on Twitter, follow me. My username is @EmSwizzle, so follow me there. I tweeted this. I said, bro, if Nintendo needs to sell 15 million more Switches, why don't they just make 15 million special editions and release all of them? Make 15 million different special editions and release all of them. I'm totally kidding. I can't take myself seriously sometimes. Make 1 million different Animal Crossing ones. Make 1 million different Zelda ones and just release one of all of them. And someone's going to buy them. Think smarter, not harder. Or work smarter, not hard. Think smarter, not work harder. Is it work smarter? Think smarter, not harder. There you go. That's it. Yeah. Make 15 million unique Switches. Someone's going to buy them all. Okay. Anyways. Our next piece of Nintendo news here. Let's see. We have, after this, 4 more pieces of news. So much news to discuss here. All right. Next piece of news. Nintendo says they will release Nintendo Switch Switch 2 information in phases. So, rather self-explanatory once again. But we have a quote from the Nintendo president, Shuntaro Furukawa. And he says, as with previous announcements of new hardware, we will continue to release information in phases leading up to launch. Which honestly, I think is the right way to go about things. You don't want to drop everything at one time unless you're actually showing off the console and its name. I kind of like the approach of just trickling information. Here's something. All right, wait some time. Here's something new. Wait some time. Here's something new. That's kind of cool. I like that. So we're kind of in phase 1. Phase 2 will probably be, honestly, phase 2 will probably be the name of the console. Phase 3 will probably be showing the console. Phase 4 might be showing us the games for the con. So it's just going to be released in phases. That's cool. I like that. Our next piece of news. Let's see. What is this piece of news? This is a big one. A long one. Oh, here we go. Nintendo confirms Nintendo Switch 2 will use Nintendo accounts. That's cool. So, of course, if you have your Switch right now, you probably registered it and set it up with a Nintendo account. You need one if you have a Switch Online account. Pretty much everyone's got a Nintendo account. Well, recently, and not even just like this past week, even like a year ago, whenever Nintendo would talk about the next console, they would always talk about how they want a very smooth transition from one console to the new one. So from Switch to Switch 2. And they were like, we're going to use Nintendo accounts so people can get the new console and sign in and be set up right away. They want a very smooth and easy transition. So it is confirmed right here that Nintendo Switch 2 will use Nintendo accounts. And we have a quote from Mr. Shintaro Furukawa. Let's go ahead. Let's read it. Yes, we prepared Nintendo account to support long-term relationships with our customers across hardware generations, even before the Nintendo Switch launched. They've been prepping Nintendo accounts for a long time, so if you don't have one, I'd recommend signing up because that's how you're going to be setting up your Switch 2, and that's kind of, the way of the world for Nintendo is Nintendo accounts. So get one now if you don't have one. That's the freaking way moving forward. Next piece of news. Let's grab this one. What is this one? Do we have any more Switch 1 news left? I feel like it's all Switch 2. No, not yet anyway. More Switch 2 news. Nintendo confirms physical games will stick around on Nintendo Switch 2. This is great because you kind of have to worry. You kind of have to worry whether or not Nintendo will go the digital route. As we know, with PlayStation, with Xbox, they've put out digital-only consoles, being the Xbox Series S and the PS5 Digital Edition. They have 2 digital consoles. You gotta worry about Nintendo, but no, they've said they will continue with physical cartridges. And here's the quote from, once again, Nintendo President Shintaro Furukawa. Our objective is not to simply increase the share of digital sales, but to maximize overall software sales, including sales of physical software. This policy will remain unchanged going forward. So they are not changing the fact they are putting out physical software. That's great. I want physical games for as long as possible. I am a physical game collector. However, when games do go all digital, I'm not going to be upset because, let's be real, digital games are more convenient. I mean, really, if you're bringing your Switch on a trip, you have all your games on your Switch. You don't need no 20-pack of cartridges in your bag. It's convenient, but I also like having the box on my shelf. So for as long as physical games are around, I'm gonna keep on buying them. But I won't be upset when physical goes away, essentially. So regardless of how you feel about it, physical games are going to be a thing moving forward with the Switch 2. And I love that. And one thing that I'm very excited for is seeing the box art for Switch 2 games. Or not box art, but like template. There's going to be a brand new box template. So do you know how the Switch has the Switch logo in the top left of any Switch game? I'm excited to see what the Switch 2 will have. I imagine it'll be very similar, but maybe a different color or something. I don't know. Yeah, we have to see. Because, dude, Switch games are red. Wii games are white. 3DS is white. DS has a black box. What's going to be the next one? I'm excited, man. We have to see. It's all a mystery. Most of this stuff is like, it's news, but it's a mystery. We have to wait and see what it'll actually turn out to be. Next piece of news. Let's see. Oh, here is something cool. The Nintendo Museum in Japan will open this fall 2024. Now, that might sound like a cool piece of news, but that's actually bad if you were excited for this, because the Nintendo Museum was revealed in the last September Nintendo Direct. So the one in 2023. It was revealed then, and this was announced to release or to open in April of 2024. Well, guess what? They missed their opening date. So now it's opening in fall of 2024. We don't know when. That's all we know. But if you want to go to the freaking museum, you're on a bit of a delay there. You're delayed. You can't go to the museum. You can't meet Mario. You can't do any of the cool stuff. You gotta wait a little bit longer. But we can wait, right? Delay your Japan trips. It'll open later this year. It's gonna be very cool though, because like while that piece of news sounds like nothing, having a official Nintendo museum, that's cool. Imagine the pictures, the YouTube videos from people going to that place. I'm going to love it. That's going to be nice. And our final piece of news. What even is this? What is this piece of news? Oh, right. Nintendo Switch has reached 123 million players annually. So every single year, or at least for the past year, 123 million people have hit the on button on their Nintendo Switch. How cool is that? Very cool. Comment down below. Comment power if you're on a platform that can comment. If you turned on your Switch in the past year. I imagine every single one of you probably. But yeah. You've sold 141 million copies of the Switch, and 123 million people turned it on. Where are the other, 18 million who didn't turn it on? Where are they? Where are they? Honestly, I would probably bet that the other 18 million Switches or whatever, I can't do math, 41 minus 23 is what? That's 18, isn't it? 18, right? I bet you the other 18 million are all broken. They're all broken Switches. Either way, that's a cool number. And then I see this piece of news on the ground here. Did I read this one? What is this? Did I already read this piece of news? What is this? What is this? Yeah, okay. I read that one. That was the rumor one. I didn't know because it was folded up so nicely. I thought I had dropped it. Anyways, that is it for the Nintendo news headlines segment. But that is not all. The podcast is far from over. We must discuss. Because while the Nintendo Switch 2 is so awesome, and that's all we've ever wanted from Nintendo, I can't help but see a problem with how this might be run. I can't help but see a problem with the Switch 2. I can't help but see a problem with the future of Nintendo. What do I mean by that? Let's go ahead. Let's discuss right now. So really, guys, the last thing that I ever want to do is be negative about Nintendo. I've grown up with this company. They grew up with me, not really, but kind of, right? And I love Nintendo. That's the reason I'm sitting here with the Superstar plush next to me, right? I love Nintendo. And I don't like to point out negatives. However, with the announcement of Switch 2, I found something that is worth talking about. So, there was one piece of news that I held back on reading during the segment before where I talked about Nintendo news. And that piece of news is a quote from Nintendo president Shuntaro Furukawa. And the headline reads, Nintendo says the next console can appropriately be described as the next Switch model. And we kind of touched on it last segment, but let me go ahead. Let me read this quote from Nintendo president. At this stage, we cannot say anything more about the successor to Nintendo Switch. For today's announcement, we determined that the most appropriate expression to use was, quote, successor to Nintendo Switch. Information will be released in stages leading up to the launch, as we have done with previous new hardware announcements. So the main takeaway there is successor to Nintendo Switch. And some of you might already know what I'm going to say, because I've said it before, and I express this as a worry that I have for the Nintendo Switch. So, I want you all right now, if you are, I can walk you through this. I'm going to go ahead and Google right now. Google right now, Nintendo IR sales, okay? You'll see something pop up that says dedicated video game sales units. Click that, okay? Let's scroll down right now. So mine is loading. Okay, scroll to the bottom right now. You will see the first column here shows the sales for the NES back in 1981, I believe. 1980, something, right? So the NES sold 61.91 million units. Great number. They released a successor to SNES called the SNES. Did you know that? Guess how many copies that sold? 49.1. Great number, by the way, but less than NES. We move on. Scroll up a bit more to the Game Boy section. Game Boy sold 118.69 million. The successor to the Game Boy Advance, sold 81.51 million. Scroll up even more to the DS. DS sold 154.02 million. The 3DS sold 75.94. The Wii sold 101.63 million. The Wii U sold 13 million. Those are all of the successors to consoles in Nintendo history. So I want you to look me dead in my eyes right now and tell me that you think Nintendo Switch 2 will sell better than Nintendo Switch. I don't see it happening. I truly don't. And I would love nothing more than to be proven wrong. I would love nothing more than for people to come back to this podcast and say, haha, Max, you're stupid, you were wrong. I would love nothing more. I would love nothing more than that. I would love to be wrong. But I don't see a possible way Switch 2 can sell better than Switch. I don't see it. And that's a problem. That's a problem. That is a serious problem. Because if you look at like PlayStation, PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5. Obviously, PS2 was like the best selling, but they're succeeding in not making like a crazy different console. So the main gimmick when you buy an Xbox or a PS5 from the previous console, so PS4 to PS5, the PS5 is more powerful, right? And that's obviously a selling point for any new console, right? Where am I going with this? They don't have to make a brand new big machine just to have it sell. So for the Switch, you might think for Nintendo, they should make this like crazy new step away from Switch, big giant console. They don't need to do that. They just need to make the successor more powerful. And they're doing that right now, which is why I think the Switch 2 kind of has a chance. If you look at the Wii to the Wii U was obviously more powerful than the Wii, but it was still pretty far behind. It was still far behind than the Xbox One or the PS4. We talked about this earlier, but the Switch 2 is rumored to have a lot of power. like more than PS4, but less than like a PS5, right? And if they can implement that sort of power, it could have a shot at being near what the Switch sold. But I don't know, just based on history. They've had so many at-bats at making a successor console, and they've never been able to pull it off, to make the successor sell better than the original. For a bunch of reasons. For the name. Wii U, are you kidding me? Wii U? If they called Wii U Wii 2, it would have sold 4 times more at least. 4 times more. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So, for the Switch 2, I see a problem. This will not sell better than Switch. The only shot it has, and I will say, if any successor console can do it, it's going to be Switch 2. If any successor can sell better than its previous, it's Switch 2, based on what we're hearing. I'm stressed talking about this because, bro, that's my career on the line. I talk about Nintendo. If this crumbles, bro, I'm gone. I'm kidding. I'll find a way to pivot to something, right? But I sense a problem. And that's kind of my biggest thing. I'm drawing a blank here. I really worry for Switch 2. Now, here's my biggest thing. We always doubt Nintendo. I've done it many times. If you guys can remember back to 2020, which wasn't long ago, so hopefully you can. Animal Crossing New Horizons was a big point. That era of the game being active was a big point where I really doubted Nintendo, because a big thing in the Animal Crossing franchise were the characters like Cap'n and Brewster. Cap'n, runs the island. Brewster gives you coffee. These were big characters in Animal Crossing that were not in the newest Animal Crossing game. People, including me, a lot of me, doubted Nintendo to ever bring those characters to the game. And guess what? They did. And that's just one example. Nintendo's very good about listening to the people and figuring things out. We always doubt Nintendo, and they, not to suck up to them, they almost always come through. I mean, seriously, they almost always come through with whatever we need them to do. A lot of the time, right? We want Zelda Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. I guarantee you that'll happen at some point. It's going to happen. We wanted Game Boy on Switch Online. It happened. They are really good at listening, but not just that, figuring things out. Which is why I think the Switch 2 might have a shot at passing the Switch. It might have a shot. You just have to be very careful. I think maybe the biggest thing is just how you market the Switch 2, whatever it is. Its name, its commercials, its slogans, its selling point, its advertising. You have to really say, hey guys, this is brand new. If you don't buy this, you don't have the newest Nintendo, and not just that, you're also missing out. You don't have Mario Kart 9, you don't have the new Zelda, you don't have the new Splatoon, you don't have the brand new Animal Crossing, you don't have the 4K, you don't have none of that. They have to make this console so good that you need to buy it. If they can't do this, we're done. Switch 2 is done, Not to mention, it needs to look different, feel different, and have a whole different vibe to it. You need to make a new console without making a new concept. Stay with the whole Switch thing, where you switch to TV and handheld, but you need to make this a brand new thing so people know, oh, okay, that's Switch 2. That's all. That's what you need. You need, what else can you do to make this console a success? They always do good. Nintendo, I think for a while, was probably terrified of going over to Switch 2. For a while, now they're probably pretty confident, right? Because they've seen what happened when the Wii U released and they were down in the dumps. They were losing, bro. They were losing money left, right, center, up, down, diagonal, horizontal, vertical. They were losing money, dude. So now they know what that's like, and they can't go back to that. They're going to figure something out with Switch 2. It's just a matter of what do you do. And that's the fun part. I get to sit in a chair and just talk about it all day while they do it. That's the best part. So, will Switch 2 sell better than Switch 1? The odds are stacked against Nintendo, but I hope they can figure something out. I'll say it once again. I already said it. I'll say it again. You have to make a brand new console without making a brand new concept. Make it new, but keep the whole Switch mechanic. Keep that. With that said, that is the problem I see with Switch 2. No successor ever from Nintendo has sold better than its original. Never. So we expect Switch 2 to sell better? I don't know. It's going to be a weird one. It's going to be really weird. But with that said, that is the segment. I'm losing my voice over here. It's going to be freaking cooked tomorrow. I've done 2 podcasts today. Oh, man. But that's that. We do have our next piece of news. The June Direct will happen on June. Sorry, there's no date. In June, not on June. I will be putting out my predictions for that Direct on June 1st. Man, it's going to be a wacky world. It's going to be a freaking wacky world for Nintendo in the next little bit, next few months. And we're going to see if Switch 2 can sell better than Switch. But with that said, let's get to your favorite segment of the week. The Answering Your Questions segment, where I answer your questions, not just stupid questions, not stupid stuff. I answer your questions about Switch 2, about Nintendo. There is some stupid stuff in there, but mostly Switch 2. Let's go ahead. Let's discuss. My friends, it is your favorite segment of the week. It is the Answering Your Questions segment, where I, EmSwizzle or Max, answer your questions that you have asked me. So, Max, how do I submit a question? Very easy, listener. So, I've officially phased out the voicemails. So, I used to take voicemails last episode, and before that, I phased it out because there weren't as many as I thought there would be. So now, it's all written questions. I know that you maybe liked that part, and I did too, but it just wasn't enough to have 2 voicemails, then 20 written questions. So we just have to phase it out. But I enjoyed it. Maybe someday we'll bring it back. But for now, written questions only. And the place to leave me a written question is every single Wednesday until Friday on my YouTube community tab. Now, if you subscribe to me on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@EmSwizzle, EmSwizzle, go to the community tab, you will find the post every single Wednesday, sometime after 12 p.m. Eastern time. Now, that's much easier to find if you go ahead and subscribe to me. it'll pop up. It'll pop up naturally, so you can do that. But I will leave the link down below. Go to the description and look in the sources and links link. Click that link, and then you'll see another link that says EmSwizzle's community tab. Click that, and you'll be brought there. Wednesday after 12 p.m. I always take questions there. And the reason why I do it there and not something easier like Twitter is because on YouTube, on my community tab, that is the biggest form of written. How do you phrase that? That's the biggest written form presence I have. I can type something and people see it. That is the biggest audience I have there. So that's why I do it over there. But with that said, we have a ton of written questions, I believe near 20. Let's go ahead. Let's dive in. Top Banana 729 asks, do you think Nintendo will listen to fans with Switch 2 and add more color, life, and charm to the menus? For example, menu music, no more bare bones empty themes, a less simplistic layout, and more similar to the Wii U and 3DS? Also, quick question, will motion controls begin to get phased out with Switch 2? I think, as we said in the last segment, yes, we probably will get themes. Just because I feel, as I said, Nintendo is so good at listening. They're so good at hearing our critiques, our criticism. They're very good. And they can act on it. I truly do think that we will get themes and things like that on the next console. I really do believe it. Because not only will it have more power, not only does Xbox and PlayStation have themes too, it just is what we want. I think that they'll do it. There will be more charm probably. And then will motion controls begin to get phased out? I don't think so. If you see anything get phased out with the Switch 2, I hate to say it like incredibly, but it'll probably be Mii's, dude. Mii's will probably get phased out. They're getting phased out of everything. Of Switch Sports, of the Switch itself on the home menu. They're no longer on the home menu. They're in the settings. They're going, dude. So I don't want that at all. I love Mii's, but that's probably the next major thing to get phased out. So Mii's, unfortunately, gotta go. Rapid Gameplay 77 asks, what games do you think will come out at the launch of Switch 2? I have to say a 3D Mario, because for as long as you can remember and look at in the history of Nintendo, they've always launched in like the last 20, 25 years with either a 3D Mario a Mario or a Zelda. I had to think about that one because Mario Bros. U was not 3D. Mario Bros. U, that ain't 3D. A Mario title or Zelda title. So, you can't do Zelda because you just dropped Tears of the Kingdom not even a year ago. A year ago and 2 days as of recording this podcast. So, you have to go with a Mario title. And so, I think that you would probably go with a brand new 3D Mario. I don't know if it's Odyssey 2. I don't know if it's a brand new thing. I don't know if it's whatever. Sunshine 2, Galaxy 2. I don't even know. It's a 3D Mario of some sort. And then you supplement that maybe by putting out a tech demo, like how they put out 1-2 Switch, Wii Sports. Something that shows you the features of the Switch. And maybe you put out like one more solid game, maybe you pour over Metroid Prime 4, like you do a Metroid Prime 4 release on Switch 1 and Switch 2, you know? Maybe you do that for launch day. Who knows? But I think 3D Mario is for sure a lock. It has to be a lock. There's no way. 3D Mario has to. We ain't got a new 3D Mario since 2017. It has to happen. It has to happen, right? Hamza, who is a channel member, by the way. Channel members, by the way, link down below, get guaranteed questions if you are a Swizzle Prime member. So we have some channel member questions scattered in this entire list. Hamza is a channel member getting their guaranteed question. They ask, how hyped were you when Nintendo announced that Switch 2 is real? Honestly, I was super excited, but I wasn't like jumping up and down. Because I knew, like we all kind of knew that Switch 2 was going to happen. Just a matter of seeing it and just a matter of when will it happen, right? But like we kind of knew that was going to happen. So I wasn't jumping up and down, screaming, but I was like, oh, wow, that's so sick. It's actually happening now, you know? Excuse me. So I was like, that's awesome, but I wasn't going nuts, you know? So that's kind of where I was at. Camden, channel member, do you think there will be a camera on Switch 2? Probably not. I would lean towards no. That's kind of a thing of the past, to be honest. A camera on consoles, like PS Vita even had one. 3DS had one. DS had one. I think it's a thing of the past. I would love a camera on the Switch just because that gave you opportunities for things like Nintendo Land, the camera, the gamepad camera, the 3DS AR cards, or just the function of a camera in general, you know? That was always cool. but I don't think they'll spend the money to put a camera in every Switch. I would love it, but I don't think it'll happen. Captain ET2457, what games do you want on Switch 2? What games do I want? Also, by the way, Corey, who is also a channel member below, asks pretty much the same question, so I'm going to answer both right here. I'm going to say, for me, the thing that I want, number one, Animal Crossing, whatever. Animal Crossing, the next game. Animal Crossing, whatever. I want the next Animal Crossing. After that, I would say Pikmin 5 I want. Man. After that, I mean, I'm kind of set, but I'm trying to think of like one more thing. I want a tech demo. I honestly want bring back something similar to Wii Sports. I'm not saying Switch Sports, but I'm saying some sort of game that shows off all the features of the new console and is so fun. Even like a Nintendo Land. Bring back a fun little charming game like that. I would actually want that more than Pikmin 5. That's a crazy statement, by the way. That is a crazy statement. But I honestly kind of want that. Bring back some little charming game or something. I would appreciate it, man. Gamer in Danger asks, Switch 2, when, where, how? Also, would you prefer new focuses or just a beefier Switch? The first part of your question, Switch 2, when, where, how? What does that mean? Switch 2, when? Hopefully releases next year. Hopefully gets shown later this year. Where? On Nintendo's YouTube channel. And how? How does it release? In stores. I don't know. Did I answer that right? I don't know. Also, would you prefer new focuses or a beefier Switch? Would I prefer new focuses or a beefier Switch? I would honestly want them to like do something brand new that we've never seen before. But at the same time, what can you really do? Like what? Think of a new concept right now. What can you even do that has never been done before? Not really much, man. So I would want a brand new thing, but I'm fine with a beefier Switch. That's always cool, you know. And people love Switch, dude. People love Switch. The portability of it, people love it. So beefier Switch is probably just the better option. Doggo, channel member, asks, will the Switch 2 have remakes early in its life cycle? Probably. And guess what? It'll probably be remakes that people want most. I would seriously not be shocked in the slightest if Nintendo put Twilight Princess and Wind Waker on Switch 2 as a selling point. Like, hey, you want these remakes? Come and get them. Buy Switch 2, and then you can have them. I wouldn't be shocked. I seriously would not be shocked. If because you want those so bad, the entire, community wants those so bad, okay, have them, but come to Switch 2 first. Come to Daddy. I would not be shocked. I think that it will. Kind of like how Link's Awakening happened on Switch. It wasn't like super early on. That was in 2019? But it was like a much loved and appreciated remake. I'm surprised they didn't put Thousand Year Door on Switch 2, but either way. Either way. No Name Game asks, do you think it is too much of a risky move to create an entirely new console without the Switch concept? Or is it better to play it safe by making a new Switch due to the success? That's a tough one. And we kind of answered a similar question just a bit ago. But I don't know. If you're going to make a new concept, it better be good or else you're screwed. I think maybe the safest thing is to make a Switch 2. But it is certainly a risky thing to make a brand new concept. But if that concept was really good, that might hit the jackpot, So it is risky. I would say it's less risky to make a beefier Switch. That's what I would say. Definitely less risky. Joseph, channel member, asks, what is your favorite boss in Super Mario Galaxy? Dude, I forget all of them. I've played these games so long ago, I forget what the freaking bosses were. Can I Google them real quick? I mean, I didn't even, like, play it that long ago. It was last year, but, like, I don't be remembering this sort of stuff. All right, let's see. We got Mega Leg, Dino Piranha. Oh my gosh, this dude right here. I hate this guy, but I also love him. I love him because I hate him. Major Burrows is his name. Major Burrows was a headache for like 5 minutes. Major Burrows is my favorite. I also just kind of like how he looks. Yeah, he's cool. Major Burrows is my favorite. Joe Burrow. Mohammed asks, do you think Metroid Prime 4 would be on Switch 2? I think, honestly, yeah. Just because it's like, time's ticking, bro. Switch 2 is about to come out. You've not even revealed Metroid Prime 4 yet. Why not just release them both the exact same day? Honestly, if they announce Metroid Prime 4 to release in 2025, I promise you, whatever day they announce is going to be the Switch 2 launch day. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. It makes so much sense. However, if they drop Metroid Prime 4 later this year, that probably won't happen. Like that. Sorry, that might happen, but it being on Switch 2 probably won't happen, I would say. So, we'll have to see. If it's this year, it won't be on Switch 2, I think. If it comes out next year, I think it releases same day as Switch 2, honestly. Ezra Belts asks, how much can you lift? Like on any machine / equipment? I bench 225 pounds. That's my max. So hopefully that answers the question. Dude, I got freaking big recently. I don't know what happened. I Like Trains asks, Winter Olympics or Summer Olympics? And what is your favorite Olympic sport to watch? Tough. The thing with winter, by the way, is I don't watch the Olympics very much. Can I convert your question to like, which one do you prefer? Mario and Sonic at the Summer Olympics or Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympics? Can I convert that question? Because if I do that, Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympics, dude, everything feels the same. Freaking snowboarding, skiing, it's not as diverse as the summer ones. And I love the winter ones. I have both of them. But I like the Summer Olympic Games better in terms of Mario and Sonic. There's much more to do. However, I will say, Mario and Sonic at the Sochi 2014 Olympic Games on the Wii U, the freaking snowball mode, the snowball fight in the Dream Sports, best game of all time. My gosh. Let's Go Gaming 28224 asks, do you think the Switch 2 will look better in docked mode? Yeah, I think so. I think that it will. There's been rumors saying that it'll be 4K in docked mode and 1080p on the actual handheld. I wouldn't be shocked. I think that it will look better docked. 100%, yep. ELYK asks, after the Switch 2 releases, would it make sense to mod your Switch? Ooh, spicy. Not like on launch day. So when Switch 2 launches, I would still say no. And I'm not against modding. People think that for some reason. I would say after the Switch 2, and I think I said this before, after the Switch 2 takes over. So like after there's no more games coming out for Switch 1. Because at that point, Switch 2 has taken over. You're not worried about getting banned on Switch 1 if that were to ever happen. Now, I know that if you mod your console, you don't really get banned unless you cheat. I know that, but just playing it safe, man. Like, if you get banned now, what are you going to do? Like, tell me, what are you going to do? Buy a new Switch? Okay. $300 later. Like, what are you going to do? So it's just kind of risky right now. So I would wait until all your time is going into Switch 2. I would wait, but that's just me. Do what you want. I mean, I don't know. I would wait. Finally, Dylanator, that's a fun name, asks, have you ever thought about playing the Xenoblade Chronicles franchise? Because I'm playing through the first one right now, basically almost finished with it. And it's a really, really great, and really looking forward to the next two games, and just asking if you ever have considered playing it, because I highly recommend it. I've considered playing it. I see a lot of talk about it, but I don't know if I would ever truly take the leap to play it. Just from the entire looks of the game, it doesn't look like a game that I would play. It doesn't seem like a game that I would enjoy playing either. So I have to say, yeah, I've considered it, but no, I probably won't ever play Xenoblade. Same with like Fire Emblem, dude. Fire Emblem and Xenoblade, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'd ever play. I don't know. Maybe in the future, but not now, you know. But that is all for the Mario Matter episode number 88. Thank you all so much for listening, watching, viewing, subscribing, giving us a positive review on your favorite podcasting platform, Spotify or Apple. By the way, guys, if you have not given us a review, that is 100% the best way to support us non-financially. Financially, you can become a channel member. Helps me out, you know. And you also get guaranteed questions and bonus episodes of this podcast in exchange. Very, very cool stuff. Link down below for that. But yeah, with that said, that is a wrap on our biggest episode ever. Switch 2 is real. It's real, exciting, and look forward to it. We're going to have tons of new info throughout this year, and we should have it next year. Going to be a crazy few months coming up. With that said, have an amazing rest of your day. I will see you all next Saturday for even more Nintendo news. And if you know me just off of this podcast and not my main YouTube channel, I also make Nintendo content on YouTube. I make, Nintendo YouTube shorts, videos, cool stuff. Main channel is linked down below. Go and check that out. I'll see you all soon. Very, very soon. Next Saturday. Adios.